Let's turn attention now to Plateau State, where it took the combined effort of an armed squad to douse the tension at the Jos Correctional Center after inmates launched a protest over plans to ration their meals. The operatives shot sporadically in the air to return the inmates to their various cells. Our correspondent in Plateau State, Funam Joshua, reports.
Residents within the Jos Command of the Correctional Service community in Jos were thrown into panic mode following the sound of sporadic gunshots from the correctional facility where inmates were serving their jail term. The TVC News crew was at the headquarters of the Correctional Center to seek to find out the cause of the disturbance. We met the controller in charge of the command, who confirmed the incident to us, but he refused to speak on camera. He told us the inmates revolted because of an announcement of a reduction in their food ratio. Some residents shared their experience of the situation.
It was the guns, the sound were so loud and persistent for some times, and for me I felt very scary because it's not quite long, about 1 or 2 years ago, that there was a jailbreak in that particular Jos prisons. So when the sound came up, we were thinking, because my office is not far from there, so I was thinking that it's almost maybe the same thing that took place again.
We had a lot of gunshots, so everybody started running helter-skelter because of the security condition of Nigeria now. So we later get to hear that it was the inmates that was protesting because they are told that they cannot feed them the way they normally feed them anymore.
We gathered that the contractor in charge of providing food for the inmates can no longer supply it, following the increase in food prices across the country. The prisoners became agitated and began to throw stones at officers on guard. The armed squad of the command was deployed to quell the conflict.
When I got there, I addressed them, the inmates, that everybody should go back to their rooms, that to avoid any casualty or avoid any unwanted situation. And I told them what I intend to do, and they said I should go ahead. So I now said the armed men should release some canisters of tear gas to disperse them. So they started throwing stones. All of them were armed with stones. So they even wounded some staff. They started throwing stones. So I said they should fire in the air.
It is important for the relevant authorities to tackle this challenge before it will be out of control. Funam Joshua, TVC News, Jos.
Joining me on the news at 7 is a human rights activist, Godson Nwankwo, who is also a resident of Jos. Mr. Nwankwo, thank you for joining us on the news at 7. But what came to your mind when you heard about the protest by inmates, and what is the implication from your perspective as a rights activist?
Right, thank you so much. So earlier today we got the report that inmates protested in Jos Correctional Center due to an announcement made by the contractor that's supposed to feed them this March, that their foods are going to be rationed, going to be reduced because of the high cost of prices in the market. So for me, it was scary because we've experienced a prison break in Jos Correctional Center before, and also I think the reason is because of the treatment that is meted to inmates in the prison, and the way it's supposed to be, from my own perspective, is that the inmates have their rights as individuals. The rights of this inmate does not end at the gate. So they have the rights to quality of food. They have the rights to be taken care of in anything that concerns them within the prison. So the implication, for me, what I'm thinking is that this is not really good for our country and for the prison staffs. I feel that the prison officials should, or the federal government should, increase the budget for the prison, following the fact that items in the market has gone up, food prices has gone up, and these inmates can no longer eat the way they are supposed to eat. I think from the news we got, the contractor that was supposed to feed them this month said that They can no longer eat rice 4 times a week. It has to be reduced to 2 times a week because those times will be replaced with other meals that are lesser. But the inmates, started protesting. So I feel the prison authorities should look into the matter and make adequate provision for the inmates. Yeah.
All right, then, looking into the matter and making adequate provision to care for those people so it doesn't degenerate beyond the way it already is. But beyond this point, what more can be done? And do you think there should probably have been some kind of way to go about informing them about the situation? Because it's across the country and even beyond the shores of Nigeria. I mean, the soaring prices of food items, it's not peculiar to Jos or to Plateau State. It's all around the nation. Do you think there should have been just, a bit of a soft landing, a way to explain to them, to see reasons and all of that?
Yes, there is. And I think this is where maybe the staffs would have handled it diplomatically, to explain to them, for them to understand that this is a current problem in the nation and the federal government is trying everything, to ensure that we solve this problem. But again, we also look at the inmates. We are not just, I think it was accumulation of anger over the months because they were complaining that they were being fed poorly. The foods are not even well nutrition to make them healthy. So the inmates too, how they reacted to the issue. I'm not sure if the staffs of the prison handled it very well diplomatically. They would have understood that, the situation in the country now calls for adequate measures and then people understanding that this period is very difficult for our nation and we are working together to support the federal government and to ensure that these times, we transition.
All right, then. Godson Nwankwo is a resident of Jos and human rights activist. Thank you for talking to us on TVC News at 7.
Thank you so much for having me.